Hi, welcome to SIT Study Abroad. We're here with Bess Hepner talking about the Chile Education Program. And I'll hand it over to Bess to introduce herself and tell us about the program. Hi, Bess.
Hi. So my name is Bess. I did the Chile Comparative Education and Social Change SIT program in the fall of 2014. And I go to Smith College, and I am an anthropology major with a concentration in community engagement and social change. I originally wanted to do this program because I had always wanted to go to South America, speak Spanish, but I had also heard a lot of great things about Chile. And I am especially interested in social justice education. That's kind of my focus in my major and concentration. So I wanted to go there to learn more about the education system in Chile, and it ended up being a really great program, and I think really helpful to what I'm studying in the US, because the education system in Chile is really complicated and it's really political, and there's so many elements that go into education that even if you're not interested in just education, you can be really, really fascinated by the program. I think my favorite thing about the program was the directors were very caring people, and I know that they're changing, so I know that one of them is the same director, Roberto, is going to stay. But they were all just very caring of all the students and very passionate about what they were teaching and the program, and Roberto's been doing it for a long time. So it was really great to be around people who cared so much about about their jobs and about our well-being. That was really awesome. And they're just really smart people. So that was definitely like what really made the program great for me. And I was also really lucky with homestays. So on the program, we have 3 different homestays. We have one in Santiago, one in Buenos Aires, and one in the south of Chile. And there were definitely complications with my homestays. You know, stuff happens in the family, and just because you're there doesn't mean that everything stops. But at the same time, I got along with them really well. And in all my families, they were really caring and really fun. And it was just really, that was another favorite part of mine of the program. It was really great to meet people who lived there, who were really willing to show me around, and my Spanish got a lot better through my homestays. Yeah.
Excellent. And tell us about the excursions that you went on.
So we went on 4 different excursions. We went on a short one to Valparaiso, which is a city right near Santiago on the coast of Chile. And we only went there for 3 days, and that was really fun. We visited 2 different schools there, and also met with the Bureau of, it's like a teachers union that's based there, which was really cool. And visiting the schools in a new place was really exciting also. And Valparaiso is beautiful, so we had a lot of free time to kind of do our own thing there, which was fun. We also went to Temuco, which is a region in the south of Chile, and it's a mainly indigenous region, so we learned a lot about intercultural education and indigenous education there, which was my favorite part. That's what I ended up doing my ISP on. And it was definitely like a challenging situation to switch from being in a city, in a capital city, to being in a really small village. It was mostly a farming village. So the family dynamics were really different there. You really had to help out, and there were a lot of different expectations there. But it was a part of the program that I really liked a lot. And then the other excursion we went on was to Buenos Aires. We went there for 2 weeks and studied kind of the education system in Buenos Aires, which is pretty different from Chile, mainly because their economy is so different. And that was also a really good experience. It was really cool to go to a totally different country. Buenos Aires is a huge city, which I think for most people was really good. For some people, it was a little overwhelming. Yeah, I think those were all the excursions we went on. And then for your ISP, you get to decide which specific place you want to stay in Santiago, in Temuco, in Valparaiso, or in Buenos Aires. And a lot of people did stayed in one or two places during that time.
Tell us about your ISP.
So I did my ISP on Intercultural Education, which is an education system in Chile that teaches both like Chilean culture and indigenous culture to kind of promote history and an education that isn't just like colonial education. And I really studied, I studied a lot of education laws and how they're really set up based on a colonial structure. And then I went to 6 different schools. I went to 3 schools in Santiago and 3 schools in Temuco. And I visited kind of like a variety of schools. I think 2 of them are intercultural schools. 2 of them aren't, and then 2 of them were one of them was kind of like a charter school that really did intercultural education, and the other one was just a public school that had a lot of indigenous students. So I spent 2 weeks in each place. And I really liked doing my ISP, but I was definitely surprised how little time a month is. It sounds like a lot, but the time went by really, really fast. So I'd be really interested in kind of studying more of my topic in the future. But I really enjoyed doing it, and I met a lot of really cool people who I never would have been able to meet without doing this project.
And are you going to research this topic more in the future, or is it part of your studies?
I don't know if I'm going to research this specific topic more in the future, but coming back to the US for this last semester, I focused a lot more on Indigenous education, and I took one class at my school on like colonialism and education, and that kind of blew up this fascination that started with my ISP. So I'm definitely really fascinated in studying that more, and Indigenous education in other places. So I also studied like Zapatista schools, which are really similar this last semester. So I don't know if I'm going to end up focusing specifically on Chile, but it definitely kind of focused my studies more into looking at colonialism and education, which was really cool, really great.
What do you think makes SIT unique?
It's really amazing to be able to travel around and learn this really specific thing that you wouldn't learn if you just enrolled in a university. So that was really a unique part of it. And I feel like academically, it was a really enriching semester. Yeah. Great.
And do you feel like you had access to a lot of different activists or speakers that came in? Was that helpful to you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did have a lot of access to people who, like anyone who had any kind of activist role involved in education in Santiago, we had access to them. And our directors were really well connected, and they set us up with advisors for our ISP. That was also a really great way of meeting people. And my advisor was great, and I'm actually still a little bit in touch with her. So that was, yeah, that was a really special part of the program.
Great. And how do you feel your Spanish was? Was it hard for you to learn or start out in Chile?
My Spanish has definitely improved a lot. Chilean accents are really hard to understand at the beginning, and I had 2 years of Spanish, of college Spanish, before I got there. So it's definitely improved a lot. A hard thing about the SIT programs is you do spend a lot of time with American students. So we would speak English to each other. But during my ISP, I kind of forced myself to branch off and do more things in the city that I had heard about. And I ended up meeting a bunch of people through that who didn't speak any English. So that really helped my Spanish. So like surrounding yourself with Spanish speakers and not English speakers as much as possible really forces your Spanish to get better.
Excellent. And what advice, what parting words would you like to give people about this program?
Definitely don't get too comfortable with your program. I think it's really easy to kind of just do what SIT like helps you do, and I think it's really good to push the boundaries to kind of use the resources that they give you to focus on whatever you want to focus or reach out to interesting people who gave a lecture. And it's also really important to try and meet people who aren't just Americans in your program. I really loved everyone in my program. I was really lucky, I think. But it's really good to kind of push your comfort zone more than you want to.
Excellent. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thanks for talking with us today.
Yeah, no problem.